I'm about to show you something that will completely change how you interact with AI tools and just your productivity in general. Look, I'm not exaggerating. Last week, I timed myself writing a really strategic email to my team. Typing it out the traditional way took me 8 minutes 47 seconds. Using this method, 2 minutes 12 seconds. Same quality, same depth, but 4 times faster, and actually arguably better quality. But here's what nobody tells you about this approach. It's not just speed. It's about unlocking a level of context and nuance in your AI interactions that typing just can't match. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand why every founder, CEO, and business leader I coach is using the exact same method. Because look, the reality is if you're still typing into ChatGPT like it's 2022, you're leaving big money on the table. I find in coaching founders that most of us are using AI tools kind of like search engines. They type in short, clipped questions and wonder why they get generic response that they just don't use in the end, right? I see this constantly in working with founders just like you. They tell me, hey, Craig, AI just isn't that helpful in my strategic work. I don't see a practical application for this. And then when I look at how they're using it, I see the problem immediately. Because the problem isn't AI, the issue is that you're communicating with it like you're sending a text message or something instead of having a strategic conversation. Think about it. When you're brainstorming with your best advisor or coach, like me, do you walk into their office and say, marketing strategy, please, and expect brilliance? No, of course not. You give it context, you explain the nuances, you share the messy details and the behind the scenes stuff, right? But when it comes to AI, we suddenly become these incredible, terse communicators. Why is this? Well, because I think typing is slow and painful, and frankly, most of us are just not very good at it. And today I'm going to show you how to break that barrier completely. And let's just start with a real example. It happened about a month ago. I was working on a positioning document for a new program we were launching. And the traditional approach would have been me typing something like, help me position a coaching program for mid-market CEOs. And that's the kind of really generic, lame input that gets you responses that you just find everywhere online these days, right? That's why the AI slop is just so pervasive and bad. But what I actually needed to communicate was something like, I'm launching a coaching program specifically for CEOs running companies between 50 and 500 employees who are getting pressure from their boards and their advisors to implement AI. But they're worried about making expensive mistakes because they don't have the technical background. They're seeing competitors gain advantages, but every AI consultant and person they see on LinkedIn, they talk to pitches them on custom development that costs 6 figures and gives them surface level advice about ChatGPT that they could have just looked up on their own on YouTube. See the difference between those two briefs? It's going to produce completely different results and significantly more value in the latter. And the difference between these two inputs isn't just length, it's specificity, context, and strategic nuance. And so how do I do this? Well, the tool I use is called SuperWhisper, but the concept works with really any high-quality voice-to-text system. I just happen to like SuperWhisper. And here's what makes it really important for business application. First is it works everywhere, not just in ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or Slack, but in email, in Google Teams, in your project management tools, in text messaging. Anywhere you can type, you can speak, desktop or mobile. Second, it's real time. You're not recording something and waiting for it to process. You hit a hotkey. For me, it's Command Spacebar. Speak, and the text instantly appears wherever your cursor is in any application. Third is it maintains context. Unlike typing where you naturally edit yourself and save time, speaking preserves all of these crucial details that actually make your AI interactions more useful. Let me show you exactly what this looks like in practice. I'm going to demonstrate this right now with a real business challenge. Let's say I need to create a communication strategy for a difficult team situation. So the typing approach could be, help me write an email to address team performance issues after a product launch that didn't meet expectations. That's it. How long did that take? Well, just a few seconds. Now watch what happens when I speak the same request. I'll activate SuperWhisper and just talk. I need help crafting a team communication about our Q3 product launch. Here's the situation. We launched 3 weeks ago, and while we hit our technical milestones, our customer adoption is running at about 40% below projections. The team is starting to point fingers. Sales is saying the product positioning was unclear, product is saying sales didn't follow the playbook we created, and marketing feels like they're caught in the middle as always. I need to send an email that acknowledges we missed our targets without creating the blame spiral, refocuses everyone on customer feedback we've been getting, and sets the team up for our next meeting to be more productive rather than just a venting session. The tone needs to be accountable but forward-looking. I want to make sure I'm modeling the kind of problem-solving approach I want to see from the leadership team. Time to speak that? About 40 seconds. Same time investment, relative, like less than a minute, right? Either way. But look at the difference in context and specificity. Which do you think is going to be able to produce a more actionable, tailored piece of advice and output that I'll actually use? Now, let me show you each of these in ChatGPT. The difference is night and day. The typed version gives me a really generic template. The spoken version gives you a strategic communication that addresses specific dynamics, shareholder concerns, and leadership modeling that the situation actually requires. But here's where this gets really powerful for founders, CEOs, and executives. It's not just about individual interactions, it's about building better relationships with your AI tooling over time. When you consistently provide rich context, AI tools, especially like ChatGPT, start delivering responses that feel less like templates and more like a strategic partnership, like you're talking to me. I have clients who've told me that after switching to voice input tools like SuperWhisper, their AI tools started feeling like having a seasoned consultant available 24/7. Same tools, same models, but completely different quality of interaction and result. And the productivity compound is real. When you're not spending mental energy condensing complex thoughts into typing-friendly kind of snippets, you can focus that brain power on higher-level strategic thinking. Here's what most people miss that I really want to emphasize. This isn't just about AI chatbots. We talk about AI all the time. This is the 100 days of AI. But this transforms your written communication all over your business. Email, Slack and Teams, documentation, content creation, right? It's everywhere. I've had clients cut their kind of administrative writing time by 60 and 70% using this approach. Now, okay, you say, Craig, this sounds great. How do I get started with this? How do I jump in without drowning, right? So first, use it only for AI interactions. Get comfortable with voice to text and SuperWhisper and start building the habit of using this just in your LLM tool that you use. Second is to go to email. Start speaking your email drafts, especially for complex or kind of sensitive communications. Third, integrate with your project management and team communications tools like Docs and Slack or Teams. And four is use it for strategic kind of content creation and documentation. And see, the key here is progressive adoption. Don't try to dive into the deep end first and change everything at once because you'll just get fatigued and probably burn out. You got to build that muscle memory first. And now if you're like, this sounds great, but like, I want more. I want to take the blue pill or the red pill, whatever it is, and go deep on implementation strategies. And if you want to see how I coach founders through AI integration, grab my free AI Accelerator course. The link is in the description below, and I walk through the complete framework from bringing your business where it is today into an AI forward state, operationally, marketing, sales, finance, everything. Link is in the description below if you want to check it out. But you might be thinking, like, Craig, seems great, but like I work in a co-working space or in an open office or have meetings back to back all day. And so here are a couple of solutions I can offer you. So if you're worried about privacy, most really high quality voice to text tools can process locally. Your audio never leaves your device. SuperWhisper, for example, can run entirely offline. If you're in a noisy environment, it doesn't have to be perfectly quiet. Put in some earbuds, and these tools are remarkably good with background noise. And even a basic headset can eliminate most of the kind of environmental issues that you might be worried about. If you're like me and in our meetings all day, is actually where this tool shines most of all. Because instead of trying to type notes during a call, speak directly into your voice to text tool like SuperWhisper, and you won't be distracted from your coaching call by typing. To me, the founders who see the biggest productivity gains are often the ones who initially thought they didn't have time for this approach, but in the end, they really do. You know, I've been coaching founders on AI implementation for a couple of years now, and this voice to text approach is consistently one of the highest impact and lowest effort changes that they can make. And in my AI Accelerator course, I break down not just this technical setup, but the strategic thinking that makes AI tools actually useful for business leaders. You can grab it for free. Link is in the description below. And I cover everything from prompt engineering, building AI workflows, AI agents, and things that actually scale and work in your business. But look, here's the bottom line for all this. AI tools are only good as the context and the content that you give them. And the fastest way to provide rich context is communicate the way you naturally think, by speaking. Every minute you spend typing into ChatGPT is a minute you could be having strategic conversations instead. The founders and executives who are going to win with AI aren't necessarily the most technical ones. They're the ones who figure out how to integrate these tools into their actual workflow in ways that compound their strategic thinking rather than just automating busy work. I'm Craig Hewitt. This is 100 Days of AI. And if you enjoyed this video on massive productivity gains that you can get with AI, I think you'll love this video on why you should check out more Google AI products that I think will really transform your AI at work.